There was laughter, snide, buzzing, echoing laughter that bounced off the crystalline walls of the Virilan Senate chamber like a badly told joke that just wouldn't die. "And then," said Administrator Cathox, barely suppressing another ripple of mirth, "they tried to use colored light. Not lasers, not plasma filaments. Colored. Lights." The chamber burst into screeches, clicks, and grunts of amusement. Somewhere in the back, a three-eyed analyst actually choked on his nectar bulb. Ambassador Vera of the Zelvar winced politely, trying to maintain diplomacy. To be fair, humans have a peculiar way of repurposing primitive systems for unexpected results. Cathox waved a dismissive appendage. "Please, your admiration of Deathworlders is well known, Vera, but this time I assure you they have outdone themselves in absurdity, painting entire cruisers in rainbow hues, emitting bursts of neon color before battle. What next? Blasting music during orbital engagements." Nobody answered, mostly because the humans had already done that too. Lieutenant Dev Sakamoto leaned over the railing of the ISS laugh track, a cruiser whose name had started as a joke and, like all good human jokes, mutated into deadly irony. "Command," Dev said over comms, "I think they're laughing at us again." "Confirmed," came the voice of Captain Priya Voss from the bridge, equal parts tired and amused. "They've tagged our transmission as a low-threat event with humorous potential." "Cool." Dev stood up straight, flexing his back. "Permission to repaint the satellite cluster?" There was a pause. "Approved. Use Pattern 7 and make sure to sync with the choir team." "Roger that." Pattern 7 had a name, unofficially, the Spectral Middle Finger. It had been developed by a bored group of artists from Earth's Interplanetary Decorative Corps, yes, that was a thing, after one too many encounters with alien elites calling human tech aesthetically offensive. In truth, it was brilliant. Thousands of drones would deploy in perfect geometric formation, spraying luminescent gas and fiber optic mesh into the vacuum of space. Within minutes, a hauntingly beautiful rainbow would spread across the void, forming rotating rings, glowing sigils, and, if seen from the right perspective, a subtle caricature of the Virilan Senate with an enormous clown nose. It wasn't technically a weapon, but morale damage. Oh, that was very real. Aboard the Virilan flagship Harsh Judgment, Cathox gaped in horror as the nebula-sized insult unfolded outside the observation dome. "By the black void, they're doing it again." "Do we fire?" one of his lieutenants asked, tentacles twitching nervously. On art? They haven't violated a single treaty." Another flash of prismatic brilliance lit up the stars, followed by a haunting choral tune, Earth's reorchestrated version of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, in Latin. "We have no protocol for this level of cultural warfare," Cathox whispered. Back on the laugh track, Dev leaned against a console, watching the latest feedback ripple across the interstellar net. The Virelans have declared a 72-hour mourning period for their humiliated aesthetics. Captain Voss snorted. "Update the paint queue. Make sure our next drop uses Pattern 4. Add glitter." "You monster. You have no idea." The official report, as filed by the Virilan Aesthetic Council, read as follows: "The humans have inflicted visual terrorism of the highest order upon the peaceful starscape of Sector N9. Our navigators are disoriented. Our dignitaries are weeping. Our entire Third Fleet is in therapy." Which, to be clear, was entirely accurate. What the report failed to include was that the humans had done all this while politely smiling and broadcasting classical Earth music to uplift spirits. "Ambassador Vera," growled High Chancellor Drock of the Virilan Tribunal, "explain your species' obsession with visual noise." Vera blinked, innocent as an angel freshly hatched. "You mean color?" "Color? These are not colors. These are emotional assaults. We had 2 admirals resign after their ships were bombarded by what your people call glitter bombs." Vera fought the urge to laugh. "Technically, biodegradable space-safe reflective particulates," Drock hissed, "and the one with lights shaped like rude gestures. That may have been Pattern 13. We're revising it. Humans are deliberately provoking us." "No," she said sweetly, "humans are expressing themselves. It's your cultural lens that sees insult where there's only sparkle." The chamber erupted. Somewhere, a Gorlak representative quietly began chewing on their own gavel. Meanwhile, aboard Earth Command HQ, located inconveniently inside a hollowed-out asteroid because Earth Command liked dramatic flair, General Elaine Briggs was reviewing the latest art deployment. She rubbed her forehead. Okay, status. Her aide, a cheerful junior officer named Will, said, "The Androxy Empire just asked us to host an interstellar arts symposium." And the Virulans? They called us a chromatic plague. Also, 3 of their fleets are currently stalled because their navigators keep hallucinating. Elaine muttered. So basically, success. Will grinned. Morale on our side is off the charts. The kids love it. We've got memes, dance challenges, even fan edits of the rainbow explosions set to 90s techno. Elaine paused. Did we ever officially design the spectral middle finger as a weapon? No, ma'am. Then send in another. The Virulans had had enough. Cathox stood before the Galactic Council, his voice shaking with frustration. If the humans will not stop, we demand sanctions. Their ships are weapons of humiliation. One delegate asked, "Have the humans destroyed any of your ships?" "No." "Fired on your people?" "No." "Violated treaties?" Cathox trembled. "They violated our peace of mind." There was silence, and then a soft hum filled the air. A hologram flickered to life in the center of the chamber. Captain Priya Voss. She leaned forward, chin resting on her fist. "Hello again. I hear we're being problematic." Gasps echoed. The audacity. Cathox hissed, "This is a closed session." "Oh, relax. We're just here to observe. You know, to monitor galactic mood trends." Drock snarled, "You're destabilizing interstellar decorum." Priya shrugged. "You started it. We offered help. You mocked our tech, called us primitive, told us our art was childish." She stood slowly, and the hologram zoomed out to reveal a human fleet behind her, each ship glowing, shifting in brilliant chromatic pulses across the darkness. "We don't do revenge. We do performance." The chamber dimmed. Behind her, another pattern ignited. This one looked suspiciously like the Virulan Council Hall, complete with blinky eyes and a giant disco ball on top. Priya smirked. "Any questions?" Back aboard the laugh track, Dev was still laughing 10 minutes later. "You really did it," he said into comms. "You rickrolled the entire Galactic Council." "Technically," Voss replied, "I conducted an audio-visual counter-offensive within galactic legal boundaries. You dropped a rave on their capital moon and filed it as humanitarian aid. Some of them liked it. Yeah, the Dronex delegates reportedly cried from happiness. They're petitioning to rename their moon Party Rock." Captain Voss leaned back in her chair. "They mock our tech," she said, "but we understand the real battlefield, culture, morale, symbols." Dev blinked. "So what's the next move?" She tapped her fingers together. "Now, we make them love us." The Dronex homeworld now had a nightclub in orbit. That wasn't an exaggeration. It was quite literally a converted orbital refinery fitted with pulsing plasma lights, a 200-meter-tall holographic DJ, and a gravitational base cannon that made tectonic plates vibrate to the beat. The Dronex called it the Temple of Thump, and they weren't alone. Across 10 sectors, human ships, once modest in appearance, now shimmered like carnival rides designed by gods with bad taste and zero restraint. They sparkled, they strobed, they played synchronized dance routines mid-dogfight simulations. It was the most peaceful galactic arms race in history. High Chancellor Drock was losing what remained of his dignity. "I demand action," he bellowed, pounding his 6-fingered fist against the marble table of the interstellar order. He was wearing special tinted lenses just to speak without getting migraines from the human delegation's diplomatic cruiser docked outside. The bedazzled vengeance. "Ambassador Vera," he snarled, "your fleets are infecting the void with joy." Vera, dressed in a sharply tailored iridescent blazer that literally sparkled when she blinked, smiled serenely. "And?" "They've painted an asteroid field with hearts." "Yes," she said, "to honor the Dronex-Fyrn alliance. They're dating now." "What?" "They bonded over our rendition of total eclipse of the heart. Drock made a choking sound. Back on Earth Command HQ, General Elaine Briggs surveyed the strategic hologram. Stars, fleets, colored zones, and over a dozen flashing pink hearts. She sighed. This was supposed to be Operation Diplomatic Reassurance, not whatever this is. Will grinned. It's working, Ma'am. Pirate activity dropped 40%. Trade is up. Half the Androxy want human body mods to glow in UV like our pilots. Elaine squinted. Is that our ship doing loop-de-loops while projecting holographic dolphins? Will checked his screen. Yes, ma'am. That's the SS Dolphin Justice. Commander June says it's a vibe maneuver. Elaine leaned back. This was never in the manual. Elsewhere, in the shadows of a dying star, a meeting took place. 8 warlords from 8 angry species. Enough is enough, one of them spat. The humans are infecting the galaxy with dancing. Our warriors now moonwalk into combat simulations. Another growled, their techno-gospel broadcasts are making our temples less relevant. The Shazeen warlord bared his fangs. My mate left me for a human performance artist. Silence fell. They all turned to the central figure, the last resort, Admiral Croven of the corrupted Star Armada. Croven, infamous for burning entire planets for parking violations, leaned forward. Deploy the vortex silencer. We end their signal. We end their noise. That night, across the galaxy, human ships went dark. No lights, no music, no sparkle. Alien fleets celebrated. The silence was deafening. Until 3:47 Earth Standard Time, a single beacon activated, then 2. Then every human ship lit up simultaneously, revealing a coordinated visual symphony across entire constellations. Waves of color, symbols, lyrics, emotional resonance. They weren't just broadcasting noise, they were telling stories. Epic love, sacrifice, loss, rebirth, triumph, translated into every known language, and a few that hadn't been heard since the 4th collapse of the Urk. On board the alien warlord ship, Admiral Croven stared at the screen. They're not attacking, he whispered. They're mourning. His second-in-command, a nervous Creel, blinked. I believe it's a memorial for their fallen soldiers. Croven's fists clenched. They're using empathy as a weapon. The Creel nodded. It's extremely effective. Our crew is crying. I think I love them. Croven turned pale. Ambassador Vera addressed the council the next day. We understand our culture is intense, but when you mocked our tech, you failed to grasp what it was built for. She smiled softly. Connection, expression, meaning. Behind her, the hologram shifted to show alien children dancing with human soldiers, ships covered in murals of interstellar friendships, fleets coordinating humanitarian food drops to famine zones, all while playing disco jazz fusion that slapped way harder than it had any right to. We could have built better weapons. Instead, we built better bridges. By the end of the week, the Virilan Council issued a begrudging statement. While we find the humans' use of radiant absurdity excessive, their ability to unite diverse species through art and shared absurdity has merit. Unofficially, Virelan teenagers started dyeing their skin iridescent and streaming human prank shows. One even went viral dancing on top of a cruiser while screaming, "Human vibes only." High Chancellor Drock filed for early retirement the next day. The Carthac Dominion tried to outlaw colors, literally. After their border sectors experienced a 12% drop in worker productivity due to humans installing what they called moral uplift artifacts, also known as disco balls, in orbital docks, the Dominion declared a full ban on non-regulation hues. The moment the decree went out, a fleet of civilian human vessels responded by flying into their airspace cloaked in bureaucratic compliance, each ship painted in exact monochrome. Except, they used structural diffraction panels, so when the Carthac scanned the hulls under ultraviolet light, as was their standard inspection protocol, every ship burst into shimmering animated rainbows only visible under their own scanners. It was a technical masterpiece and a diplomatic nightmare. They weaponized wavelengths, hissed Supreme Overseer Korat, his scales twitching with suppressed rage. Yes, sir, said his adjutant, and filed it under environmental adaptation camouflage. It's technically legal. They've painted our prison satellites to display motivational quotes. I believe that was Operation Smile or Else, sir, Overseer Korat growled. The humans are humiliating us, peacefully, colorfully, constantly. A beat. Then he narrowed his gaze. Get me the anti-vibe initiative. Meanwhile, at Earth's Interstellar Outreach Command, Will Simmons was being promoted. You're now commander of emotional warfare, said General Briggs with a perfectly straight face. Will blinked. That's a real department now. Briggs handed him a glowing tablet. We created it last week. Your job is to do exactly what you've been doing, but bigger, louder, more colorful. He scrolled. You want me to deploy the Aurora Echo grid across all sectors of the fracture belt? Yes. We've seen a 39% decrease in border tension when the sky pulses to synth pop at dusk. And the dancing battle mechs? Approved, especially the one that throws confetti when dodging missiles. Will smiled like a man who'd just been told he gets to fight war with music videos. On it. Far away, inside a massive black-ringed fortress at the edge of the galaxy, the Anti-Vibe Initiative held their first and only meeting. Human influence is destabilizing, grumbled one admiral. They've made diplomacy fashionable. Our officers are requesting glitter armor. A Vralk chieftain slammed his clawed fist. We must cleanse the stars of their madness, the lead technician finally spoke. There is a solution, they turned. Broadcast suppression field, total sensory dampening. We nullify their signals, neutralize color frequency, and restore. An alarm shrieked. The walls began to pulse, and then bass. Through hidden panels in the fortress, lights erupted, holograms of human dancers. A booming voice screamed, "Welcome to the surprise rave zone." The humans had embedded a surprise flash party payload into the Vralk's new satellite comm system 4 weeks ago. By the time they reached the control center, half their ships were bobbing involuntarily in sync. On the Galactic Council's neutral moon, Ambassador Vera held an emergency press conference. We do not seek conflict, but we will defend our right to express ourselves with synchronized sparkle. Behind her, her personal cruiser flashed "Love Wins" in Morse code. A reporter asked, "Is this your official response to the weaponization accusation?" Vera nodded. "Our music drops harder than your kinetic payloads. Adjust accordingly." But not all were thrilled. The CERN Dominion had remained silent. Until now. Their fleet, ancient, massive, and steeped in conquest, entered human territory for the first time in 2 centuries. They did not fire. They danced. 20 CERN capital ships engaged in a perfectly choreographed light display above Earth orbit, synced to a remixed version of Beethoven's Ninth with tribal drums. Then, in a galactic-wide message, their leader broadcast, "We surrender to the vibes." The universe changed that day. Galactic borders didn't dissolve, wars didn't vanish, but parades began to accompany peace talks, and instead of flags, fleets flew murals. Alien races once defined by rigidity now debated color theory. Species once suspicious of Earth now shared memes and paintbrushes. The humans hadn't conquered anyone. They'd simply made the galaxy too fabulous to stay angry. General Briggs stood on the balcony of Lunar Command, watching the stars pulse in every shade imaginable. Will joined her, sipping a neon drink with a tiny umbrella. "We broke the galaxy," he said. "No," she replied. "We remixed it." They watched as a fleet of alien ships flew past, trailing rainbow vapor and blasting Earth's unofficial anthem, "Never Gonna Give You Up." You'd think the galaxy would resist being discoed into submission. You'd be wrong. See, most alien species didn't understand Earth's culture at first. But now they feared our marketing teams more than our military. Which brings us to the incident known across the stars as the day the humans painted the war summit. It was supposed to be a truce signing, a big, boring ceremonial thing hosted on neutral ground, specifically Station Cordaxis Prime, orbiting a dead star in a grey system with no moons, no color, and no sense of joy. The perfect venue for serious galactic negotiations, until humanity got involved. Ambassador Vera showed up in a solar reactive suit that changed colors based on ambient tension levels. The more angry someone got, the more sparkly she became. The CERN delegation looked furious. Vera twirled. Her suit turned into a slow-motion glitter nova. Commander Trillax of the Grivak Republic stood to protest. That's when the human diplomat team, previously sitting quietly, snapped their fingers in sync. The floor lit up. Rainbow LED floor tiles. The signing table rotated, slowly, revealing an embedded smoke machine. "What is this?" someone shrieked. Vera gestured. "Diplomacy, human style." Minutes later, a dance-off broke out between opposing species. It wasn't in the treaty, but it was binding. Because the moment a 12-tentacled Varnox spun into a wormhole breakdance, even the most hostile delegates couldn't stay mad. The Earth delegation had pulled it off again. No weapons, no threats, just an unstoppable tide of absurdity, timing, and the exact right techno beat. Later, in a dark room aboard Earth's deep cultural strategy ship Colorstorm, Commander Will Simmons and General Briggs reviewed the footage. "You sure this isn't too much?" Will asked. Briggs took a bite of her churro. "They kidnapped one of our paint drones and asked for asylum. I think we're past too much." She tapped a control. Behind her, the main screen displayed galactic news, CERN High Court debates, adding color psychology to war ethics curriculum. "Look at that," she said. "We're rewriting civilizations using music videos and puns." Will leaned back and grinned. "We're the glitter nuke, aren't we?" "No," she replied. "We're worse. We're fun." Somewhere in deep space, a lone pirate vessel intercepted a seemingly derelict cargo container. They opened it. Out burst a wave of scented fog, thousands of miniature disco balls, and one pre-recorded hologram of Will Simmons screaming, "Surprise! You've been vibed!" The pirates surrendered to a fog machine. In the end, no one truly understood how humanity did it. The Korvac Empire still had the biggest dreadnoughts. The Vralk still had claws that could rip titanium like tissue. But humanity? We had portable speakers, weaponized choreography, and the terrifying ability to turn psychological warfare into Saturday morning cartoons. And so, when aliens now hear the faint hum of an incoming beat drop, they don't prepare for war. They check their outfits, they stretch, they brace for the human drop. Peace, in the end, didn't come with treaties. It came with neon lasers and a remix of Bohemian Rhapsody in 12 alien languages. And every species, no matter how stoic, eventually learned to say the words that now echo across galaxies. Humans are absolutely insane, but damn, they've got rhythm.